Anyway, let's talk about Rob. Woj going on Woj has been on this from the beginning. The 4 to 6, he's been calling it a conservative timetable. And that there's some who believe that Rob could be closer in the 3 to 4 range, which puts him smack in the middle of potentially the start of round two, without you know much concern. If you went to 6 weeks, you're at the end of round two, early round three. So that would be a hard one to survive. If you're getting Rob back for round two, again, this is why everything about tonight and everything about this team going forward, we're going to judge over these next 4 days is how are they going to be in that first round series? Are they going to survive? And so this would be ridiculously good news if they got him back this early, right? I
This would be,
mean,
yeah.
are you
It would
buying?
be. I'm always with Rob specifically. I'm nervous about him coming back earlier than expected, simply because of the long, lengthy history he has with injuries. If they think he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, I don't want him back until week 4. That's simple. Even if he feels he's ready to go, even if all the metrics say that he's ready to go, I'm not trusting that. I just don't
Trust the
because I would much
science, Sherrod. Trust the
I would
science.
much rather have him out for maybe an extra week and make sure that thing is solid than potentially bring him back because there's some signs that he may be ready sooner rather than later, and then have him mess around and get hurt a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and then he'll be done for the postseason altogether.
Well, I mean, you're
I'm
making
I'm
a
going
lot of
to I
assumptions.
well, you're making assumptions that if he in 3 weeks, if they say he's ready to go, he's ready to go. Come on now.
That's not
How
an
many times?
assumption. I mean, yo, if your doctor says, yo, you're good to go, what am I gonna say? I don't believe you.
Ooh, this is a gem right here, John. This is 90s. Sorry, go ahead, dude.
No, listen, Sherrod, I am on team. Don't rush him back. But shoot, if he's good to go, he's good to go. I mean, I don't know what else you're waiting for. What else do you need to hear? I mean, I don't know why they would put him
Yeah.
in jeopardy if it's just waiting another
I
week.
mean, why give us the
I guess
runaround, right? Like, you can't give us the runaround about this. You gotta get it on point, you know?
I
You guys can't hit this on. Never mind.
That's my professional online doctor opinion. If we say he's good to go, then, and I when by we I mean us doctors. If we say he's good to go, then you got to believe us. He's good to go. We wouldn't
Jimmy
put our
Hauser
guy.
over here.
We
We got
wouldn't
Jimmy
put our
Hauser
guy.
in the building.
We wouldn't put our guy in jeopardy. I honestly
So
think.
Sway, is
Yeah.
this like run around Blues Traveler that's playing?
Yes, there it
Okay,
is. That's what I'm saying, Rob. You can't give
Oh,
us the
good to hear.
runaround about Rob. You
I
gotta
can't hear it. I
Oh.
got your lyrics. I got your lyrics.
Oh, okay. Little
Blues
Ah,
Traveler.
there
That's
you
that's
Okay,
90s.
John's
So
like,
there's a lot of
who is Blues Traveler?
there's a lot of Blues Travelers is an unbelievable '90s band. Nobody plays harmonica better than that guy.
Yeah.
I know there's some questions and conspiracies as to just how bad this tear was or wasn't, and if they elected for a certain surgery and maybe instead of another one. I actually think that I'm going to take I'm going to actually believe the team and everyone this time is that I just don't think it was that serious of a tear. I'm believing what they're saying and that he's just going to be back. Like some
Yeah.
of these things don't tear as badly as every injury is different. Like we already talked about. Embiid came back in a freaking game last year, but then a few years prior he had to have surgery and miss more time. So there's different levels to the surgery. There's different recovery timetables. If they say 4 to 6, but he's good to go after 3.5, then I think he's good to go. Like
Well, yeah, I
it's
think
not
Jimmy.
a painful injury. It's really not.
Right, well, I think
How do you know?
I think it's
I
the
love
reason why
Jimmy.
Jimmy's
My
assuming this the way-
research.
I think the reason why Jimmy's assuming this though is because if it were
WebMD doesn't count, Jimmy.
if it was very serious, the Celtics wouldn't risk it. I think he would be
Right.
shut down for the
I don't
season.
think we're looking at this right. Like,
Yeah, John wants to amputate. We know this.
No. Listen, that's.
I'm
not-
worried about
clean
this one
break.
too, John.
You want a clean
Look,
break.
No, it's not. Look,
Yeah,
and again,
right.
we're all reading the same stuff and talking to the same people.
I
but
posted a study.
the way these things go is repair is the best option. You can sometimes opt for a trim and a quicker recovery when repair is also an option because you want to get back to whatever you're doing faster. That's
But
possible.
sometimes it's the best
Sometimes repair is impossible and you have to do that trim. It's just always tricky and you don't know where the tear is and what other parts of the knee were compromised. So it's impossible to know like it was
He
a
may
minor
kind of pointed toward the second one.
that they
The-
couldn't
the-
repair it.
Yeah,
This was
the-
the only
it
way to
was the-
fix it.
If it was in one place, they could have done that. If it was in another place, they couldn't, and it was
And
in
so
another place.
it's less about severity and
Right.
more about it was actually bad enough that repair wasn't possible. So I don't think we can say it wasn't that bad. It was actually probably likely bad enough that repair was impossible. So they have to do this surgery, which is less than optimal, which is
I
why
wouldn't say
people are freaked, because
you're
sometimes
free.
coming off of these trim surgeries, you're less effective, or you develop arthritis and other things sooner.
Yeah, things
And
you
you
weren't
have
used to.
other
Yeah.
problems that compound your health down the road. For some people, that's not till 10, 15 years down the road, but for others,
Amputate.
it's sooner. So yes,
Right.
tear your ACL and get on with it, and you're better. We've
Okay,
learned
so
this.
I
Yeah.
posted a study. I didn't actually conduct this study, but I did research this study.
Where's the slideshow? Where's it at?
I
You said
tweeted
you
it. I tweeted it out, so I'm not making this up. This is a study that was done by fellow
Alright.
professionals.
Rod,
They
you listening?
surveyed about 80. This is all true. They surveyed 80, not survey. They did the research on 80 people who underwent this surgery. About half of them got the repair. Half of them got the what is it? The full one or the
Got the deluxe
repair?
package.
Yeah. Half did what Rob did, half got the repair that
Half
John
got the
said
full
he
meal.
wished
The other one got the
Rob
sandwich.
would have
over.
had. And the people who got the repair all came back, not all, like I think it was 90-something% of them ended up back to where they were prior to the injury. But the ones who did what Rob got, it was more closer to like 50%, like full recovery. So there is some level of uncertainty with this way that Rob went, but I still think that he's going to be okay. That's, by the way, I forgot to say, this was after 9 years. This is the numbers that where they got this info. So after 9 years with the injury or with the repair, 50% of the people claimed that they were experiencing some level of pain, and the other 50% said they were good and they were like operating at the same level that they were prior to the injury. So, I mean, Rob's a physical specimen, so I think that he's going to be on that good side of the 50%.
You worry about some of the freak
Bobby's heard enough.
incidents. The Dwayne Wade one way back, Kemba more recently. This injury just leading to more trouble. Certainly, Lonzo Ball has had a lot of trouble coming back from it now on his second round of, torn meniscus. It can lead to another torn meniscus down the line. I mean, there's a lot of long-term stuff here that you're worried about, because this isn't just about this year anymore. I don't think they rushed them back, like John pointed toward them maybe doing here. I do think
I
this
did
is
not
probably,
think they did. That would be the worry, that it
Yeah.
was like, hey, should
that's the
we just do the quick one and get you back? And Rob's like, okay.
Why
You're like,
can't
I
the
hope-
quick one just be the right one, though? Like, it could
It
just
could
be.
be.
It also could be. There's 3 options. This was the only one and the right one. It's a choice, or the other one, which was, like we said, it was just so bad they couldn't do anything else. Like that's basically it.
But we've never, but I don't think it was just so bad. I truly don't believe.
Well,
if
they
it
didn't
was
characterize-
just so bad, he'd be
they
out.
didn't characterize the extent of the injury. Certainly, you would think if it's on the small side, 3 to 4 weeks or whatever they're thinking there, I guess it probably wasn't a terrible one, because you're certainly seeing some guys miss 8-9 weeks with this kind of injury. So it's tough to say. They didn't characterize the injury. The trim went great, apparently.
It doesn't matter. The severity doesn't matter. The trim surgery brings you back
it's the
faster.
recovery.
It doesn't mean it's bad or not bad. It can be badly torn, and the only thing you can do is a trim, and no matter what, that brings you back faster than full repair. So it's not a matter of bad. It's a matter of what happens after. Like, it's not
he's
bad.
gonna toss a brace. He's gonna
When-
toss a sleeve on
yeah.
the knee and get out there in 3 weeks.
It's not
and,
it's
like,
not
that's
bad
gonna
or
be the end of
not
it.
bad. That surgery allows you to come back sooner. The full repair,
And
which means longer health, also means longer recovery. That's it. That's all we know. Like, they're just those 2 things. One gets you back quicker, the other takes longer. But we don't know if it was a not bad thing. It's just, this is the type of surgery that allows you to return faster.
right, and what we also know based on scientific proof that both ways can get you back to where you were prior.
They can. So he could
So-
still be the same guy and
we
be
could
awesome.
we could get the
Yeah.
best of both worlds here. We could get a full
Yes.
recovery, and we could get Rob back early, maybe in time for the beginning of the second round, or who the hell knows? If it's 3 weeks, he might be back in the first round. I don't know. I mean, shoot.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. So
It's possible. I don't know of an example of a guy getting back that fast from that. I think it's more likely that it ends up lingering. You know, you got to get back on your feet. You got to get like the optimism this early to me is kind of surprising. Like I think it's just sort of wishful thinking in my mind. Like they're hoping that this is possible. It might take longer. You know, it took Butler 6 weeks a couple years ago. I mean, every guy's different. This is sort of his first run in with an injury like this, so that probably plays in his favor. But I see everybody getting mad in the chat about the fact that we're worried about this. There's no good way to spin this happening to this guy, the style he plays in, with knee issues early in his career,
Yeah.
lower body issues, blood flow issues. There's no
And
good
this
way
is
to
the good
spin
knee.
this.
Right. And
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
the
it's
good
the good
knee.
one.
This
Right.
this is the one that is sound structurally and all that we're talking about. How is this knee going to respond when he gets back?
Right. It's the
I-
other one that has the tendinopathy flaring up left and right that's caused him to miss pockets of time throughout the year, albeit
Right.
small ones, you know,
Mhm.
compared to
Right.
what he's missed
Yeah,
in
we're
the past.
talking about a guy who leans on his explosion. That's everything to him. And there's some knee troubles here early in his career. I mean, this is a big reason that he's here in Boston in the first place as a 27th overall pick. This is the downside to the enormous upside we've watched all year here, and it happened at the worst time. I mean, we're talking about him getting back on his feet, trying to go 100% in the middle of a playoff series. I mean, what if you're down 3-2 in a series, like the Hayward return in these finals that year, and it's like, all right, let's push this guy back in to save us here. It's just not a great situation. It happened at the worst time possible. I'm not casting any dispersions on his long-term future, but that's something that comes into play with an injury like this. There's a history of guys having trouble years after this.
I mean, again, that's the whole thing. I do believe that, you know, the best case scenario of him returning and being the same guy would be great. I don't know
It's
that
possible.
I think it's possible. I don't know that that's what we should be expecting. Of a super fast return and the same exact guy he was right before he left seems like asking a lot. We're talking about knee surgery, and we're talking about a guy coming back in 3 to 4 weeks and being the same exact guy he was before he got hurt. That seems unrealistic. So you might have to skate around without him and around with him not 100%. And then who knows whether or not he gets back to it in these playoffs. Guys, come on. Whoever's there's got to mute.
Who's in the construction site?
Yeah, whoever's got the
Chill,
construction,
Sway.
you got to mute. Yeah. But yeah, that's the hope. The hope is he comes back. I think the concern is you're seeing them kind of look more normal without him here, and the thought of not
That was
having
my
a full
question for you. How do
the
you think they look without him?
the thought of having, I mean, it's hard, right? It's not the same. I mean, we haven't seen a team play at this level since the 2009 Celtics before KG got hurt in terms of killing teams. That's where they were. They were that good. Absolutely obliterating teams. And so now you've seen him come back to the pack. It's sobering. You know, it is. And like I said, is I actually compare it to, you know, earlier in the year when Smart was out and then he came back and they went on that tear and everyone was like, "Oh, look, Smart was the key." I think they're all the key. That's kind of the thing.
It's on a
I think
string. That's how they
the whole
play.
thing is on a string, and I don't know whether it was intended to be that way or it just worked out that way, but the complement of what they can do and what they're able to accomplish together, particularly defensively, and the blend that they bring in an unconventional sort of way offensively as well, with Rob's gravity and whatever Smart's doing there, you know, and his embracing that role of facilitator, and then Jalen and Jason starting to play off each other a little bit more. It just turned into something I don't think anybody saw happening, you know, to that level. And so, yeah, it's all on a string. You remove any one of them and it drops considerably. I mean, together, it's like the fist versus the five fingers. It's a big deal. It really makes, they're so different when they're missing one of these guys. It changes the whole dynamic. They're dominant with all of those guys out there. Particularly defensively, and you just see that drop when one of them go out, and it's hard to say second most important, third most important. They're all important. You know, I don't know. That's kind of what we thought.